Hello everyone and welcome back to my crafting world. This is Anna. Guys, I am so sorry for the glare. I know there's a glare on here, but it'll go away as soon as I remove this. So I am going to do a quick tutorial on the spool die. I'm going to use the wider core cylinder, however you want to word it, and I'm going to use the top with the little teardrop shapes on the, or teardrop shapes I'm going to call it. So you assemble them the very same way. It doesn't matter whether you're doing the thin one or the thick one. There are many different ways to assemble it. I'm going to show you what the easiest way for me was. So I did these the way that I'm about to show you. These are the examples that I had shown you when I showed you the release. So you're going, or I did them, I'm going to make them exactly the way I made these. So I have already pre-cut my pieces. I did two solid, this is 110-pound cardstock, and then I did a pattern on the back. All I did here, guys, was glue them together. Okay, you can add more paper layers to this if you want, but that's all I did to this one. And here is my little cylinder piece. The only thing I did differently to this one, guys, and I found it, I found that it rolls up better and it just looks better, was I went in and I, for my score line, you know guys, when it's a die, the score line doesn't indent really thick. So I just went in there, I put it on my scoreboard and I scored it again, you know, over the original existing score line. And like I said, it kind of, you know, it just kind of looks better for me. That's an extra step you do not have to take, but I take it because I think my cylinder looks a little smoother that way. So the next thing I am going to do is I'm going to put glue. There's a little score mark right there. So I'm going to put some glue on that score mark, right in front of that score mark, and I kind of left my glue open. So okay. So I am going to put glue right here on this little tab, okay? And I am going to roll this up. I did take my bone folder and kind of rolled it up to kind of train the paper to, you know, to be round. So I'm just going to glue that flap down right at that score line. Right at the score line is a perfect, it is a perfect lining. It lines up perfectly is what I'm trying to say. So I'm just going to hold that down for a second, make sure that it really does adhere well. I'm going to take my two top and bottom pieces. So it does have a little score mark on the inside. I didn't bother checking on this one, so when I glued my piece down, my score mark is on the other. Just an extra little measure there. So you do have that score mark. That is where your connection goes. So for me, the easiest thing to do, so this is, you know, glued down. So my cylinder is this way, okay? So I just pushed down. I had already, you know, folded these in so I didn't struggle once I was going to put my cylinder together. So I just pushed them down, keeping my cylinder kind of round. And as you can tell, they're not pushed all the way in because I do want some resistance on there for when I glue it down. Now, you can take a little more time with your glue, you know, spreading your glue on there. I'm just doing this for a quick video. Okay, so my glue is on these tabs. I'm going to take this. I'm going to place it. Let me see if I can get a little bit closer. I'm going to place it around this score mark right here. Okay? And I'm going to make sure that it's even all the way around the round the bottom of the cylinder, oh, I'm sorry, the bottom of the cylinder, I'm going to make sure that it is lined up with that score mark. And see, we have a little resistance, so we can actually push down. Sorry, I know the angle is bad because I was trying to see. There's a, here we go. So I'm going to hold this down for a second. I'm going to make sure that my my little cylinder here is lined up with that score mark. So I am pushing down on the inside of the cylinder so that it will adhere to the bottom, to one side of the spool. Okay, so it's tagged down pretty good. So I'm going to take my finger and just push this in a little bit because I see that it came out. I mean, not came out, but it shows a little bit. So it's still wet. So I can actually push that in a little bit and readjust that. So I'm going to take something flat. In this case, it's a Sharpie. And I'm going to hold those little tabs down. Just push them down to where they're going to adhere to the doily part of the spool. So that's all I'm doing here. Okay, so now to me it's adhered pretty well. I'm gonna get up here again. So here we go. See the inside of the tabs? They almost line up right on the hole. If you flip it over, you can see that you're not going to see your tabs. Okay, because they lined up right just almost flush with the hole. And that's why I stuck my finger in there to make sure that, you know, they weren't sticking out. So for the other side of my cylinder, I'm going to push these down again. And again, I don't want to push them all the way down because I do want some resistance. Again, I'm going to quickly add glue on here because I don't want to take all day. Well, not all day, but I don't want to take more time. More of your time than necessary. This is just a really quick tutorial on how to put the spool together. Okay, so this is my my second cylinder, or I'm sorry, my second side. So as you remember, I told you I didn't pay attention to that little score mark, the score circle that was, it's on this side. So I'm gonna have to just hope that I put it on there evenly. And I will, if I stick my finger down into the hole once I put it down, I'll make sure that it's kind of even that way. So I'm going to push this down, and again, I have a little resistance. I am actually going to stand it up a bit and make sure it is even. And I am going to flip it over. This is the side that I'm gluing now, this one right here. I'm going to stick my finger in there just a little bit because it looks like this side is coming out just a little bit, and there we go. It's already fixed. Now I'm going to show you how to press. I want to hold this down a little bit so it'll tack really well. And I'm going to show you how I made sure that those sides were well adhered, just like the first side. So holding it down a little bit, I think it's probably tacked on pretty well. I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to take my Sharpie, and I'm just going to push down on those ends, on those tabs, to make sure that they are glued down pretty well. And I'm going to bring this up to my face and just look inside. And it looks, let me see if I can get it up to the camera at a good angle so you can see that they are adhered pretty well. I know it's kind of hard, that my lighting isn't the greatest, but if you see the inside, it's so hard to see. Let me see if this is going to help. So there we go. If you see the inside, They are adhered right to the edge. Okay, and that is on both sides. So let me flip it over and you can see the other side. And they're adhered very well. I don't think that is going to come off. Now, if your fingers are thin, you can actually stick your finger down in there and press down. But my fingers are not that thin. So let me see. I didn't get it as even as I could have because of the score line. So that's an important part of the design. The score mark is important. So make sure you check to see where your score mark is going to be if you add a bottom layer to this. So it's as simple as that, guys. It is done. It's well adhered. Of course, you know, I would pull on it a little bit, but the glue is probably still wet. But there we go, guys. Really easy to put together. That's exactly how I did mine. Of course, you can put pattern paper on this side. You can, like I said, there's a lot of different ways that you can do this. This is just a quick tutorial on how to put it together. And this is the pattern that I like more. That's why I chose this one. But yeah, so the cylinder looks, you know, rounder on the edges if you score it over when you're first going to fold your score marks, your score tabs in. Anyway, guys, that is my quick tutorial on how to make the spool die. If you have stayed on this long, I will let you in on a secret. So I contacted Nicole and I asked her if I can get wider cylinders. So I am getting some wider cylinders made. This one is 1 inch. I'm getting 1.5 inch and 2 inch. And as an added bonus, Nicole put flowers on the inside of I think she said it was a flower plate. Anyway, we're getting flowers on the add-on. So if you stuck around this long, now you know. We're going to get 1.5 and 2 inch cylinders with flowers. All right, guys, thanks a lot for watching, and I will talk to everyone later. Y'all have a great day. Thanks a lot, guys.